guys, welcome back to Cernys Kids. Today we are doing a virtual trip to South Dakota today.
South Dakota. All right. If you haven't done so already, go to cernysjourneys.com and print off your map. It's on the home page. You can also click on the blog link and follow our journeys or create your own. All right, so let's tell you a little bit about South Dakota. You find it on your map? Find it on your map and color it in. All right. It was the 40th state to join the United States in 1889. The capital is Pierre. However, the biggest city is Sioux Falls. And we actually have a lot of family that live in the Sioux Falls area. So, borders are North Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Montana. And it is known as the Mount Rushmore state, and we'll talk a little bit about that. One other notable thing is previous Senator Larry Pressler is a relative of ours. So we've got a little bit of an attachment to South Dakota. So kind of cool. So we're going to start off by going to Mount Rushmore National Memorial Park. And obviously this is part of the National Park Services because we love our national parks, don't we?
Yes.
All right, so just in case you don't know about Mount Rushmore. So it's a sculpture that's carved out of granite, and it is in the Black Hills. So it's on the west side of the state. The sculptor was Gutzen Borglum, and his son actually also was part of the project. And it was made between 1927 and 1941. So it took 14 years to create this.
Why did they do it?
Well, because I'll tell you. So it took about 14 years and $1 million is what it cost to create it. And so he originally wanted to do it because he wanted to represent the nation. A few things. He talked about the birth, the growth, the development, and the preservation of the country. And so that's why he decided he wanted to do this. And so the heads of the presidents are about 60 feet tall. And they were originally supposed to feature not only the head, but the head to the waist. But they ran out of money. And so that's why in 1941 it was actually Halloween. So October 31st, 1941, they discontinued the project and construction ended, and it only ended up being the busts or the heads of the presidents. And so there's 4 presidents that are featured. President George Washington, who was
the first president.
The first president, that's right. Thomas Jefferson, who we've talked about before as well. Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. So those are the 4 presidents that are sculpted into the Black Hills. And so nearly 3 million visitors actually go to Mount Rushmore every year. So it's kind of a lot of visitors. But when they were doing it, it took 400 workers to make it. 400, that's a lot. So after they were done with the project, it became a national park in 1933.
A national park?
A national park, that's right. So I would definitely recommend going to nps.gov. I'll have links below as well so you can go reference it and checking it out if you haven't been there, because it is kind of a cool thing to see. Actually, it takes quite a bit of talent to sculpt. 60 foot of rock, right? It takes a lot of work. All right, so the next stop we're going to make is to Deadwood. So Deadwood, and actually a lot of people know that there's actually a TV series that's after Deadwood, but let me tell you a little bit about Deadwood because it's actually historic in a lot of ways. But it became, or it's actually known for the gold rush history. In 1876 through 1879, there was a big gold rush that led a lot of people to go to the Black Hills to find gold. And so
Can I have it?
No, you can't have it. I'm
I'll
sorry.
give it to you.
Oh, I would love to, but it's probably all gone because all the old timers probably took it. But anyways, this attracted a lot of people, a lot of Old West people. So Wyatt Earp was one of them. Wild Bill Hickok was another one. and Calamity Jane. And we'll talk a bit about her in a minute. But the entire city was actually designated a National Historic Landmark District. And so you can go on the website and take your own tours, find out about some of these people who actually came during the gold rush. So we'll talk about Calamity Jane because she's kind of a cool figure if you ask me. Her name was Martha Jean Canary, but they nicknamed her Calamity Jane. She lived from 1856 to 1903. And she's a notable frontier figure who really had a compassion for the sick and the needy. She was also known as an explorer and a performer. And so she actually performed in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, as well as the Pan American Exposition. But again, probably most notable was the frontier woman and her role in Deadwood. So very kind of cool. So the last thing we're going to talk about are bison. Do you guys know what bison are?
No.
No? Well, let me tell you. They are a large animal. They actually, the closest relative to a bison is a buffalo.
Are they cute?
They are kind of cute. I'll show you a picture really quick because I got it pulled up. There you go. There's a bison. So
I don't like it.
Oh, they're cute. Actually, the 5 out of 6 of the bison species actually became extinct. And they only had about 1,000 left. And so then they became protected. And so there's the American bison have now grown to a population of over 400,000 in North America. And they don't live wild. They live in national parks and on private ranches. That's how we kind of made their population grow again. So they are known for their shaggy long coats. They have like shaggy, hairy, long coats. And they grow up to 6.5 feet tall, so taller than me and Daddy for sure. And they are
Taller than me?
way taller than you, double your size. And then they're about 11 feet in length, usually.
As long as this table?
Way longer than this table.
This
Way longer. Yeah, way longer. And so they can be between 800 and 2,800 pounds.
What?
I know.
Can I eat that?
No.
Oh my God.
So they're known for grazing, and then they travel together in herds. So they're herd animals. And the reason why I bring this up is because if you go to South Dakota, there's something called I'm going to maybe hopefully not mispronounce this, Tatanka, Story of the Bison. It's actually a cool place where you can go. It was founded by Kevin Costner. And they have this story of bison. And actually, did you know that bison means big beast? That's what it means.
No.
Yep, that's what it means in Native American tongue. And so you can go to the Tatanka Story of the Bison, and you can visit. You can visit and you can learn about bison. You can see some of their bronze sculptures. You can learn. There's some education about the Native American people and other things. So, and of course, this stems from the Dances with Wolves. So there's some movie costumes and stuff like that that are on display as well. So definitely would highly recommend it. Actually, there's a lot of things to do in South Dakota, and I didn't have a ton of time to cover everything. So some notable mentions. Corn Palace. I mean, the Corn Palace, everybody's kind of heard about the Corn Palace. It's honestly,
Not me.
well, basically they display corn, tons of corn. And then they do, every year they do a corn, oh gosh, I can't think of a mural of corn. So that's kind of interesting. Wall Drug is probably the most famous tourist trap in this country, if not the world. It's basically a huge gift shop. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. So people all go from all over and they stop. And then you'll see people's bumper stickers saying like, "I've been to Wall Drug." It's kind of funny. And then Sturgis, can't forget to talk about Sturgis really quickly. Sturgis is the annual motorcycle rally, and that actually happens pretty close to where Mount Rushmore is. So it's kind of amazing to be in South Dakota during August when everybody's traveling in from South Dakota to go to Sturgis. There are motorcycles everywhere. So it's kind of cool to see too. So that is our virtual road trip to South Dakota.
Yay!
Yay! Awesome. And we'll end up going there too, probably sooner than later, because again, we've got to go see our relatives. We haven't seen them for a while. We were actually going to go, but then coronavirus hit, so we didn't end up going. So soon. All right. Anyways, thanks for joining us today.
Bye, guys.
Make sure you
to
like and subscribe. Yep.
Thumbs up.
Bye. See you next time.